Alright guys, I'm going to be making duck today with a blueberry honey sauce, and I'm going to show you how to cut everything off of the duck. I'm not going to do a full lengthy process. I'm going to show you one at a time, but with your legs, you just want to start with cutting the skin a little bit. Work your way down. They should just come right off. There shouldn't be any issues at all. Just follow the joint. Cut all the way to the top. And just snap. You don't really have to put a lot of effort into it. Twist, pull. Now you have a leg. It has the thigh attached to it still. But that's not all I'm worried about. I'm worried about the duck breast. That's the main goal. Now, chicken wing, same thing. Cut the top here. Trying to cut myself. Cut the bottom. Shoot all the skin. Same thing, twist. Now you have your wing. There's no meat on this. Nothing. This is good for stock, snacks. Not really much of a snack either, but it's mainly good for stocks. These, you can eat these how you want to. They have a lot of tendons. And all of these right here, even in the meat, it goes all the way up the meat. It's not really worth it, but at the same time, it tastes really good. Now this duck has some smaller breast. This is the smallest breast on a duck I've seen in a long time. But you want to start here. Work your way down the middle. It's hard to do this with a neck camera. Just cut down. It's still kind of frozen. Yeah, it's a frozen duck. It's not a fresh duck. I'm not rich. I'm poor. Just a blue collar man that loves to cook. Just down the middle. Cut the skin a little bit. Same here. Cut skin. The breast basically comes off by itself. You don't have to do a lot of cutting. You just work on the inside. A little bit at a time there. Just like that. Now, this may be a little butchered, but I'm not used to filming and cooking. You could fold the skin in, you can cut the ends off. You want to cut this stuff off. You don't want that there. Throw it in the sink. Take care of it in a minute. If you're looking for neatness, I would cut it off. You could use it in your stocks. You could fry it and eat it for a snack. I don't really suggest eating it for a snack unless you're going to deep fry it with some sort of flour coating or breadcrumbs. I'm going to render it and make some duck fat. Way I could cook other foods with it. Trim it up. It's not the prettiest, but I'm not perfect. Now, that's that. I'm going to finish this duck up, and I'll get back to you guys in a minute. Alright. Just like that, I trimmed more skin off than I wanted to on this breast. But breast, wings, stock, for stock, makes the best little snack. It's the liver. gizzards in the heart. Good little snack just before dinner. If you're making duck for dinner, you could cook this skin with the duck to make your stock, or cook it down to make oils. It's a slow process. It's whatever you want to do. It's up to you guys. For my sauce, I got cherry juice, blueberries. I'm going to cover these in sugar, let these sit for a little bit, let them sweat. Probably going to put them on the grill the duck breast. I'll have everything in a small little snippet that I'm going to throw together with some music and have everything ready for the aftermath. Or it could be pretty, who knows. Anyways, stock, wings, suggested for stock. Snacks, dinner. This is the dinner part. This is what I'm having for dinner. I want the breast. That's all I want. But I'm not wasting anything. Nothing. I don't care what it is. These, I'll fix these and probably just munch on these with dinner too. I'm not going to have these in the video. They're not really the prettiest thing to showcase for your dinner, especially if you're having duck. It depends on what you think and what you want to do with your foods. Me, breast, makes a pretty plate, especially with your vegetables. I'm going to have zucchini and asparagus. Probably cook those in the cast iron here with a little bit of truffle oil and baste those in some butter and garlic. Let those go, sear those real nice. But seasonings, I'm just going to do salt and pepper. I'm going to use those fancy mabobs and then garlic powder. That's it. You don't even really need garlic powder, to be honest. You want everything to showcase itself. Just these. Yeah, it's Walmart brand, but like I said earlier, blue collar, man. I don't have a lot of money. We're going to use those. I'm going to show you how to score the duck here in a minute. So I'm going to move all this, and then we'll start with the breast. Alright, duck breast. They're very fatty. It's not like chicken skin. I don't care what you compare it to. I've tried to argue with my wife about it and come to find out it's not like chicken skin. Don't argue with your wives either. Anyways, we're going to cut the little piece off there. It's got a little gristle on it. To score these, you don't have to go diagonal. You don't have to go straight. You don't have to do any specific type of thing. I personally like to go diagonal with my scoring. If you don't score, you'll never render the fat out of these. They take forever. Score your fat. Score your fat. I prefer the checkered way. Yes, it makes it look pretty. No, that's not why I'm doing it. I do it because it cooks the fat inside of the skin 100%. It's a little chewy, but what do you expect for fatty skin? Let me just sharpen my knife. Alright. It's scored. No, it doesn't have to be pretty. It's not meant to be pretty. Just score your skin. You're not cooking for Chef Ramsay. You're cooking for you and your family. Anything that's out of the ordinary is going to be cool to you guys. It is to me. Score, score, score. Don't cut your meat. I don't have a lot of skin on this because I trimmed too much, so I'm just going to take it straight back. Take it straight back here. It's scored. Barely, but it's scored. We'll fix that. Alright. Your duck breasts are scored. Now, my favorite part, seasoning. Let's fix this here. Alright. Seasoning. Start with your salt. Salt's going to draw the moisture. Moisture is not something you want when you're cooking it in your pan or on your griddle. No moisture. You're not going to get the sear. Salt. Be generous. Salt your cutting board too. Especially if you're doing steaks. Salt your cutting boards. You can roll it in it. Pepper. Alright. Now, garlic powder. You don't need a lot of this. You do not need a lot. You guys don't need to be covering your foods in garlic powder and onion powder. Just a little bit. I know that looked like a lot. That's honestly not a lot. You want duck to showcase itself. You don't want seasonings to take over it. Now, I'm going to put these on a plate, put them in the fridge, let them rest, let them tighten up a little bit. Then I'll pull them so they can rest. Before I cook them, you want them room temperature. You do not want these cold when you fix them, because then you're going to have a blue center and the outside's going to be cooked well done. And if you cook on high heat, which you should to the start, to sear the skins, you should start with high heat. Not flamethrower, but it should be high heat to start. I'll get back to you guys when it comes to the cooking part. I'll cut vegetables and everything up. Got to clean my station up here, get everything ready to go. See you guys in a second. Alright, time for veg. Zucchini. Asparagus I cut up for dinner a long time ago. I made the steak with the potatoes and the mushrooms. That was more food than I needed to eat anyways. This would have just been extra overkill because it was already overkill. But this is already cut up. I don't really have to do anything. All I do is cut the ends off of it. Ooh, yeah, this needs to be cooked. I don't mean nothing. It's just getting soft. Gross. Alright. So these need to be cooked. Zucchini. Just got zucchini yesterday. My wife was making soup. Zucchini. Rinse it. You don't have to scrub it with soap. Just rinse it. Make sure there's no dirt on it. Clean all your vegetables, especially mushrooms, if you have mushrooms. Nothing fancy. Knives look fancy. These are cheap. I didn't pay jack squat for these, so I don't know how long these are going to actually last me. Anyways, cut the ends off. You don't have to do much. Cut the end off. Done. End. Done. End. Done. I'm not doing uniform cuts. I'm not worried about uniform cuts. I'm cooking for my wife. I'm cooking for me and her. I'm not trying to be fancy. It looks good. It looks fancy. It all depends about the effort you put into it. I don't really need a whole lot, so just split it. Cut it up. Yeah, pause for a minute. Split it in half. Cut your dices. I'll show you that in a second. I'm going to pause the video, that way I can do it and actually see, because this camera is in my face and all I can see is through the phone, and I don't really care much for that, but I really wanted to make a cooking video, so let's do this and then I'll show you. Split in half. Nothing to it. If you can't split a vegetable, then you obviously should watch some more cooking videos or learn how to cut your vegetables before you start cooking with other things. You don't have to do anything fancy. I don't do the claw method. I've almost cut my hand doing the claw method. Yes, it's probably because I'm not using my knife properly. I'm not perfect. Anyways, vegetable. I grab my veg and I work. Thick. Thick, 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 thick. If you're cutting thin, it's not gonna hold. There's not gonna be any consistency at all. It'll turn to mush. You're going to cook thin stuff because you're getting fancy with your chopping knives. It's not worth it. It's going to turn to mush. You want thick, thick, thick. Slow down when you get to the end if you want to chop fast. I'm not doing this to show off. I'm not doing this to showcase. If you think I am, well, change your mindset. I can't chop slow. I can't sit here and one at a time. It drives me nuts. Chopped, done. These will get seasoned with salt, pepper. Back here, these little fancy thingamabobs. Waste. These little guys back here. Not doing anything fancy with those. Salt, pepper, truffle oil. I know you can't see me get to the cabinet. I don't care. Truffle oil. My sister-in-law took me to this place for our wedding to get our oils for the breads. This is one of the most expensive things that I have. It's not cheap, but it's not like I gotta take a loan out for it. You can do it off of 2 hours of a paycheck. It's not that expensive, but it's really good and it's very potent. I'm going to use it for that. Also for the blueberry sauce, same place, Giuseppe's. I'm going to use elderberry balsamic with my blueberries and my cherry juice. These have lemon juice, sugar in it. They're soaking right now. This is to help cook the blueberries instead of just sweating them by themselves. It'll add more liquid to it. I could drink this out of the bottle. It sounds gross to drink vinegar out of a bottle, but it's the best balsamic vinegar I've ever had. Berry-wise. Sorry, indigestion. Anyways, that, salt, pepper, with the vegetables, cook those up. This is going to have to move soon because I need this area for duck. Or actually, no. We're going to use the griddle. I just cleaned it, but we're going to use the griddle. Why not? So, all that's ready. I'm just waiting until about 4 o'clock. And yeah, that's about it. Alright guys, time to make the sauce. I got the pan getting hot. We don't want it to be cold when you're making your sauces. There's my fat belly. About to feel it full. We're going to go back to Zoom. Alright, blueberries. It has the lemon juice. It has the sugar. It already has acid in it, but we want to add just a little more. This is a better acid in my opinion versus lemon juice. Cherry juice. Also acidic, but it's gonna add the extra natural sweetness to it versus it being really sweet from sugar, which these have the sugar in it, but the sugar is more to make it a sticky sauce than it is to sweeten it. So the berries are very tart themselves. That's why I add the lemon juice to cut down on the sugar. But you're gonna want to add your blueberries in. Try not to make a mess. We ain't gonna add that. Add your blueberries. Don't need all that sugar if it gets in there or whatever. It's mainly just for the blueberries. Put this in the sink. Put your water in it. Don't want sticky bowls. And then you gotta do dishes. Rinse your hands off. I need to take my ring off. My knife set. Take my ring off so I don't get it dirty. Alright. So, you got your blueberries. Throw this one in the sink. You want your blueberries to cook down. You don't really want your heat really high necessarily. Add your cherry juice. Just a little bit. You don't need a whole lot. And your balsamic, you want it to cook out. You do not want to add raw vinegar to your sauce and not let the vinegar cook out, because it's not going to give you the flavor you want. It's just going to taste like vinegar. I know that's probably quite a bit to some people, but to me it's perfect. It's about an ounce of vinegar. If I can open my cabinets. Back up there. We'll put this in the fridge in a minute. I don't think I'm going to add honey. I know earlier I said I was going to add honey to it. It has enough sweetness right now. I don't necessarily need any more. So we're going to turn the heat back up. We're going to let this cook down, then I'll be back with the sauce. Here in a minute we're going to get this going so we can start the duck, get it searing up and cooking. And yeah, good to go. Sauce has come along pretty good. It's for the duck. We're going to cook these berries some more. Strain the berries. Mash the berries. Add the berries back. Strain it again. And then let that sauce cook down just a little more. Looking good. Yum. Alright guys. Duck breast. Warm. I guess can't really feel it, but room temperature. Smoking hot back there. Lay away from you. In the back. Lay it away. Just like that. Skin side down. And then let those sear for a minute. Don't touch them. Same thing with legs. Skin side. Lay it away. Let them sear. Do not touch them. Now for the goodie little snacks. Eat those before that's done. Now it's time for veg. You want to grab your olive oil. Doesn't matter what brand you use. Add just a little bit. That's more than a little bit. So it's okay. Let that heat up. Sauce is cooling down. Have your veg ready. Everything ready to go. Lid just can go in there. We're cooking it all together. High heat. Time to flip your duck. Make sure it's nice and brown on that side. Recommended not to do that. Turn the heat down. Skin's nice and crispy. Turn the heat down just a little bit. We can pull these to the front, put the legs in the back. Flip our snacks, liver. We're going to pull these up front. Put these in the back. Look at that. Alright. Got the sear I wanted. Nice and crispy on the top there. I'm going to let these cook. Not touch them. I'll be back in a second. Flip the legs. This is why I don't use plastic tongs. Just a little color. It's not much on them. You can put them back over if you have to. Put a little more color on them. Snacks. Liver. Oh man, it looks so good. Look at that. Alright. Time for veg. Make sure it's hot. You hold your hand over it. Pan's not hot enough. Crank the heat up. That burner's a little slow. You can see down here. There you go. That one's a little slow. It's not like those over there. So we're going to let it heat up just a little bit more. And I'll get right back to you guys to add the veg. Almost forgot. Truffle. Add a little bit of flavor to it. Can't really see the camera, but that's just stuff. This stuff is potent, very potent, strong. I can smell it right now. It stinks, but it tastes so good. Little snackies, liver, heart, gizzards. Take these to the wife. I'm going to eat the livers. I don't like liver. I like duck liver. That's the only liver I'll eat, but take these to her and let her have them for a snack. Honey, I got you snacks. Chicken gizzards. Not chicken, duck gizzards, my bad. No, just take the whole plate. Good? Yeah. Here, you get another one.
Thank you.
Okay. Ooh, look at that. Yum. Look at that. I wish I had a lot. Normally use Snapchat. Look at that liver. Take a big old bite of that. It's hot. Ooh, hot. That's good stuff. Alright, now it's time for veg. I separated them. Yes, it's okay for raw vegetables to be next to your meat. if you have any concerns about that. You want this to be hot. You want it to almost burn your hand for holding your hand over it. You don't want these to sweat, because if they sweat, you're not going to get that pretty little sear that I like to get. It's just going to sweat. It's going to be juicy, messy, floppy, mushy, disgusting. So, add your veg. It ain't sizzling. It ain't drizzling. I don't have jokes, I'm sorry. Anyway, we're going to mix these up, get these going. I don't use rubber all the time. This drives me nuts, but I need to separate them so I can cook. Move this out of the way. Get my metal spatula. Should be right. Oops, wash that. Right here. Leave them, don't touch them, let them sear. If you touch them and you keep flipping them, it's not going to sear. Let them sear. That's what I'm talking about. Brown. Brown food's good. Don't touch it. If you touch it, you're not going to get a good sear on your food. Quit touching the food. Now I'm going to add my asparagus, since my zucchini is already brown. I'm just going to throw it in there. Nothing special with asparagus. I just want it cooked. Throw it in there. That cooked, cook it together. Flip it, brown it, whatever you want to do, depends on how hot your stove gets. I want it to be together for a reason. But I'll be back. Alright, mix your veg up a little bit. Make sure everything's getting cooked. Like I said, it's hard for me to do everything while wearing this neck camera. My first cooking video, so let's see how it goes. It looks messy now, but the plating is going to make it look really nice. The best part about cooking in restaurants, they don't get to see the crap you go through to make everything. They just get to see the final result, and it tastes good. So put this in there. I'm messy, I know. Alright. We're going to let this go just a little bit longer. You kind of want to snap to your asparagus. You don't want it to be mushy. If it's mushy, it's overcooked. You overcooked it because you like it that way, so be it. But you use that for an excuse because that's the way it turned out and you overcooked it. Well, so making excuses. Do better. I'm going to let a duck rest for a minute. I'm going to slice it. It'll be medium rare, perfect medium rare. Look at all that. If your meat don't look like this, you're doing it wrong. I don't know if that's how you like it, if you do it horribly and cook it like ghost meat, but it should look like that. No excuses, guys. We'll let this rest. We'll slice it up here in a minute. We'll plate it. I'm not going to video plating it. I'm going to make a little montage of it being plated already because I'm not doing all that. That's too extra.
I say, yeah, buddy, rolling like a big shot. Got cleaned up and I only serve a big guy. Fresh start time, fresh new mind. Free on the inside, free on the outside.